hostage drama in a Los Angeles area bank leaves one suspect dead. The new year promises to be a tough one in the new Commonwealth of Independent States. And a bit later, a symphony conductor who does more than lead his orchestra. Good morning, I'm Tom Miller, and this is NBC Nightside. This has been the Channel 15 News, brought to you in part by Benson's Appliances, Champaign.
Evenings at 6:30 on Channel 15. This is WICD Champaign.
And Sunday nights, wrap up weekend sports action with Ed Sorensen's Sports Sunday at 11.
News doesn't stop for the weekend, and neither does WRTV 6 News.
So join us.
Weekends 6 and 11.
Thank you for watching KFVS 12, the Heartland's News Channel. Now, Heartland News at 10.
Good evening. Illinois State Police say that
on the next Golden Girls, Monday at 3 on WFIE, the one for you.
Tom Cochran just ahead. The Tyson jury is set. Spectators are scalping courtroom tickets, and a surprise witness for the defense who's friends with Tyson's accuser. Also on News Center 13, a freak accident leaves a metro area mother buried in her car while onlookers work frantically to save her life. And horseplay attracts police to Cathedral High School. That story plus a new consumer features for budget savers. It's all next.
You're watching Channel 13 WTHR, Indiana's news channel.
Good evening, I'm Tom Cochran.
And I'm Allison Gilman.
Scalpers at the Tyson trial on this evening edition. Hoosiers are paying up to $100 to catch a glimpse of Mike Tyson's courtroom action.
Another development. A good friend of the alleged victim in the Tyson case is asked to give her story. We'll tell you why.
President Bush's economic plan scores even less points than the Boilermakers did against the Hoosiers.
Live from Indiana's news channel, this is News Center 13 Evening Edition.
That is the way it looks.
This is Michiana's weather with Newswatch 28's Michelle Hemrick.
Good evening, everybody. We've had a little bit of sunshine throughout the afternoon hours. No precipitation.
Now, news with a difference. Mike Nikitas, Michelle Gary, Mitch Sports, and Michelle Hamrick's weather. This is Newswatch 28.
Seeing it live, seeing it happen, seeing what it takes to be the best. Now, Channel 32 News is named Best Newscast in the state by the Kentucky Associated Press. Also, Best Investigative Reporting, Bruce Dunbar, and Best Reporter, Steve Bergen. Tonight, see for yourself why the Associated Press says the best newscast in town is now on Channel 32 News, your 24-hour news source. This is WLKY-TV, Louisville, your 24-hour news source. Now, Vicki Dorch, Bruce Dunbar, Reed Yaden with the weather, and Fred Calgill on sports. This is Channel 32 News, the late reports.
You're looking at a picture of Vice President Dan Quayle.
6:30 in Illinois, only on TV 2. Live from the studios of WTWO, your 24-hour news source. This is TV2 Eyewitness News with Glenn Augustine, Christine Hudson, Don Osico Weather, and Jason Pinsky Sports.
Good evening. I'm Christine Hudson.
And I'm Glenn Augustine.
From NBC News, this is Sunday Today with Garrick Utley, Mary Alice Williams, and Al Roker.
A good Sunday morning.
be sure to watch Wrestling Spotlight on TV 23 right here in the Hoosier State. Woo!
A little ointment might clear that up.
On the next night course.
Tonight at 11:30, just before Arsenio Hall, here on Fox 44 WEBB-TV. Snowbird, only on 25 WEHT.
A broadcasting service of Southern Illinois University, this is WUSI-TV, Alney.
ABC Sports.
Married with Children, weeknights at 6:30, only on WAND.
Good evening, everyone. For News First 25, I'm Paul Kelly.
This segment of News First 25 is sponsored by Welborn, your total health care system.
Watching the Fox 44 Kids Club.
You're watching Channel 13 WTHR, Indiana's news channel.
Good evening, I'm Mark Spang.
And I'm Susan Parks.
Here's what's making news now. A celebrity rap concert turns deadly. Concertgoers are crushed and smothered to death in New York.
Members of a black Islamic group are arrested for beating a police officer. They say it was police brutality.
Badly needed rain drenches California, and rain is expected in our local AccuWeather forecast.
Live from Indiana's news channel, this is News Center 13 tonight.
Rushing the door. From Kentucky, Illinois, Tennessee, Missouri, and around the world. Ernie Mitchell, Blue Japan, Dave Winder, and the Newsbeat team. This is Newsbeat. Good evening. The worst may be over.
You're watching Heartland News at 10 with Susanna Balon, meteorologist Brian Allworth, and sports with Doug Dillard. Heartland News continues in a moment. With over 70 years combined experience, the KFVS 12 Storm Team.
Journey into the unknown with the unforgettable adventures of Star Trek: The Next Generation, right here on WCEE-TV.
I'm Julia Yarbo. Coming up on the Channel 32 Noon Report, a modern-day American hero and Kentucky native is laid to rest with full military honors. The burial of Colonel William Higgins signals the end of America's hostage ordeal. The worst may not be over in Texas as floodwaters continue to douse the state. More than a dozen people are dead and damage estimates have been placed in the millions. And if you're planning on entertaining, Mr. Food will be along with some quick and easy appetizers. All of that plus Chris Phillips with the weather, Laura Bradshaw in Spotlight, and Carolyn C. with company. That story now on the Noon Report.
This is WLKY-TV, your 24-hour news source. Now, Liz Everman, meteorologist Wayne Hart with the weather, and Laura Bradshaw in the Spotlight. This is Channel 32 News, the Noon Report.
Now, Jim Burns, Ann Doyle, and Bob Reeves weather. This is Heartland News at noon.
Good day, everyone. Ann has the day off.
Live from the studios of WTWO, this is TV2 Eyewitness News with Johnny Palmer, Mike Everett, Jesse Walker Weather, and Dennis Campbell Sports.
Good evening.
This is WICD Champaign. Stay tuned now for the Channel 15 News.
You're watching Fox, WRSP-TV, WCCU-TV, Springfield, Urbana. Live from the studios of WTWO, this is TV2 Eyewitness News with Glenn Augustine, Melissa Manina, Don Osika Weather, and Jason Penske Sports. Live from the studios of WTWO, this is TV2 Eyewitness News at 10 with Mike Everett, Lee Walters, Jesse Walker Weather, and Dennis Campbell Sports.
And East Side.
WTVW Evansville. This is Eyewitness News Nightside. Award-winning news with Randy Moore and Polly Van Doren. Weather with Susan Hyland. And with sports, Mike Mallory.
Live from the studios of WTWO, this is TV2 Eyewitness News with Mike Everett, Lee Walters, Jesse Walker Weather, and Dennis Campbell Sports.
Good evening. In tonight's news, the cause of a...
WTVW Evansville. This is Eyewitness News, the Weekend Report.
Thanks for joining
Riga Royal Hotel.
Coming up in 1 hour on TV2 Eyewitness News, Dennis Campbell with our sports news. Dennis.
John, the AP preseason high school basketball poll is out for the state of Indiana. I'll check on that for you. Also, I'll have a report on the American League's Most Valuable Player Award.
And from the weather department, Jesse Walker has another soggy forecast. And from our news department, it was back to work today for Indiana lawmakers. Join us for the latest news, weather, and sports coming up in 1 hour on TV2 Eyewitness News.
Mondays are hot. Tonight at 11 on TTV4.
Generation.
Saturday night at 9, Fox 55 and 27.
WTVW Evansville. This is the award-winning Eyewitness News team. Randy Moore and Polly Van Doren with the news. Susan Hyland with the weather. And with sports, Mike Mallory.
In Chicago and Guadalajara, Mexico, neglected infrastructures cause devastating effects and cost the cities millions of dollars. Could something as catastrophic happen in central Illinois? You bet. Join News 31's Kate Hobecker as she examines the stability of some of our community's roads, sewers, bridges, and other infrastructures. Our crumbling infrastructures. Is Chicago a warning of things to come? Watch News 31 Monday at 10.
They're coming down!
Peter McKnight reporting for C13 News.
Almost all politicians are calling this year for national health care reform, and now the AMA is joining in on the chorus. We'll have the story up next.
Every Thursday at 5:30 for Budget Bargains on News Center 13 Evening Edition.
Good evening. I'm Tom Cochran.
And I'm Ann Ryder.
A history-making spacewalk pays off for NASA. 3 astronauts grab a stranded satellite and they give a boost to NASA's manned spaceflight program.
How do you keep crime from your neighborhood? The Hoosier Spotlight on the problem tonight.
And Indiana educates a lot of doctors, but the doctor-patient ratio here may surprise you.
This is WTHI, Channel 13, Indianapolis. Live from Indiana's News Channel, Tom Cochran, Ann Ryder, Allison Gilman's Health Beat, Bob Gregory's AccuWeather, and Don Hines' Sports Final. This is News Center 13 tonight.
Before we get to Bob Gregory, we want to watch.
You're watching Indiana's own WISH TV Channel 8. Live, this is 24-Hour News 8's NCAA Final Four Special Edition. Now, Mike Ahern, Debbie Knox, meteorologist Cliff Nicholson, and sports with Fred Khalil and Mark Patrick. 24-Hour News 8 continues now.
Abound, and it is 66 at 55 Country, KUSA.
The best singers and the biggest bands. WQTY is the music you remember all the time.
Monday at 11 on Fox 59.
Fort Bend, hanging the balance.
This is WTHR, Channel 13, Indianapolis. Live from Indiana's News Channel, Mark Spain, Susan Parks, Pat Carlini's AccuWeather forecast, and Lee Owens Sports.
WAND News AM is brought to you in part by your local Jewel food stores and by your Central Illinois Dodge dealers. WAND News AM.
Good morning, I'm Gail Simpson.
And I'm Jim Science.
Good morning, Tri-State.
Good morning, I'm Rob Spicker. Orders from Greenfield and our family work.
Good morning, I'm Bruce Kopp at 64 degrees.
Gifts for Christmas that make financial sense and dollars on the next edition of Our Magazine. Our Magazine, Thursday morning at 8, 7 in Illinois on Action 10.
3 people are behind bars this Christmas Eve in Casey, Illinois, charged with armed robbery. And Matt Ellis will go live on the action cam from the Christmas shopping battleground.
McAlpin's Twilight Sale and a late night.
Central Kentucky's news leader, WKYT Lexington. 27 News First. Sports with Rob Bromley. Weather with Cindy Presler. And with the news, Sam Dick and Barbara Bailey. 27 News First tonight.
The nation.
Before you go outdoors this summer, check the WKYT Sunsore Report. The Sunsore rating along with...
Look at the weekend weather.
This is a News 31 update brought to you by the Better Buick dealers in the heart of Illinois.
WBBM News Time 10:11.
Hey, Willard Scott here. 1040 WHO Radio.
From the beginning.
Now, WMAQ's extended weather forecast. Here's Jim.
Oh, the answer to our quiz. Earthquakes, riots, and scandals. Good or bad, but news comes first on WJR.
1-800-WSB-TALK. Hello, Steve from Fairburn. How are you?
In the Power 93 Stick It and Win contest.
MAQ News Time 10:51. Now WMAQ traffic and weather on the one. Scatter showers.
Enough's enough. Chicago right now. That's WBBM traffic and weather together. WBBM News Time 10:59. Good evening. I'm Bernie Tafoya. Our top stories on
Romance. On the next Perfect Strangers.
Tonight at 6:30 on 19XIX. Domesticated tigers set free to face the challenges of the wilderness. The Wonderful World of Disney, tonight at 8 on 19XIX.
And now the early morning news update on Kentuckiana's news channel, WHAS 11.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark Pfeiffer. Coming up next. In an hour, here on Kentuckiana's news channel.
Paula Gibbs and Jack Hay keep the neighborhood hopping on 227. Weeknights at 7 on Louisville Superstation, Fox 41.
Good morning, and welcome to Fox 41's Tuesday Morning Movie. Today, Karen Valentine stars as a woman with a double problem, being pursued by a psychopath while trying to recover from a case of amnesia. William Devane co-stars in Jane Doe.
All right, Natalie and Trevor getting married later today.
And now a 24-hour news update on Kentuckiana's news channel, WHAS 11.
Good morning, I'm Mark Pfeiffer.
Good evening, I'm Jim Flink. Tonight on Fox 44 News at 9, an American soldier is killed in Panama just one day before President Bush visits that country. Indiana Senator Dick Lugar, he wants American troops to stop the violence in Yugoslavia. Former pro basketball star Kareem Abdul-Jabbar makes a film celebrating black history, and the Newburgh Summerfest. It's the eve of that party. Stay tuned. Fox 44 News at 9 is next.
Fox 44, WEBV-TV. This is the Fox 44 News at 9, your only primetime news, giving you the most innovative and informative news coverage from the tri-state and around the world.
Thanks for joining us tonight. A Greyhound bus headed for Evansville and St.
Card shoppers always use their Fox 44 Smart Card for special discounts, services, unadvertised specials, and...
From WFIE-TV, Channel 14, Evansville, the one for you. Tonight's latest news for the tri-state. David James, Mike Blake Sports, and Jeff Lyons with a complete look at tomorrow's weather. This is Newswatch at 10.
Good evening and welcome to a late edition of Newswatch at 10. What kinds of sunglasses really protect your eyes from the glaring sun? Stay with us.
Get busy with the Arsenio Hall Show, 6 nights a week on Fox 41 Louisville.
The News at 10 with Susan Sweeney, Bill Francis, weather with Paula Bassett,
and Bob Rainey with sports.
Good evening, I'm Bill Francis.
And I'm Susan Sweeney.
This is CBS. From WISH TV, Channel 8, this is Indiana's own 24-hour news service.
Good afternoon, I'm Patty Spidler.
Now you can cut down on calories and still eat delicious desserts. Mr. Food shows you how to add flavor without the fat. Today at 4 on Eyewitness News.
Jeopardy, today at 3:30 on Channel 7.
Tonight on News Center 16, when malignant tumors repeatedly attack Edward Mindell's face and conventional therapies failed, all hope seemed lost until a revolutionary Star Wars cancer surgery opened the door to recovery. Maureen McFadden reports on Prescription for Health tonight at 6.
Learn from the reporters in constant pursuit of the facts. Benefit from years of award-winning coverage and precedent-setting around-the-clock service. See technology that dominates. Learn from experience on News Center 16.
From WNDU-TV South Bend, Michiana's 24-hour news source, this is News Center 16. Sponsored by your Michiana area McDonald's restaurants.
Good afternoon. It's 85 degrees. I'm Maureen McFadden. It's a day for downsizing in the oil industry. Amoco says it will cut 8,500 jobs by the end of next year, including layoffs and firings. More than half the nation's cities say they expect to come up short on their budgets this year. Nearly 75% of cities surveyed have raised taxes or fees. And we're still waiting for the rain. More news in 1 hour and on Live at 5.
That's cooking from... 0% financing is...
And here... He's screaming, my God, he's going to kill me.
Today on Eyewitness News, first at 4, the search continues for the husband who stalked and shot his estranged wife. Then if you're living on a fixed income, low interest rates could be a problem. Andrew Leckie shows you how to get the most for your money. And now you can cut down on calories and still eat delicious desserts. Mr. Food shows you how to add flavor without the fat. For these stories and more, join Joel Daly and Linda Yu today on Eyewitness News at 4.
News at 4. 5 inmates and 2 guards injured in a brawl at the Stateville Correctional Center. And a Harvey police official has been relieved of his duties after being implicated in the murder of a suburban mayor.
Also ahead, a Chicago-based company says it will cut over 8,000 jobs and find out how to make the most of your investment dollar with low interest rates. Those stories and much more coming up next on Eyewitness News at 4.
0%. This is Channel 7 Eyewitness News with Joel Daly and Linda Yu, Jerry Taft with weather, Jim Rose on sports, and the Eyewitness News team.
Good afternoon, everyone. There has been a disturbance at the Stateville Correctional Center near Joliet. Officials say 5 inmates and 2 guards were injured in fighting among rival gangs.
From WISH TV, Channel 8, this is Indiana's own 24-hour news service.
Coming up on News 8 at 5 o'clock, we'll have these stories for you. Rapper Ice-T is in hot water again, this time with 2 local law enforcement groups. We'll tell you what action they're calling for.
In my health scene report tonight, I'll tell you about a new study on how important calcium is in your children's diet.
Plus, we'll meet Riley B., a Carmel housewife and mother who just happens to be featured in this month's Playboy magazine.
In sports, the Major League Baseball All-Star team is about to be announced. Mark Patrick has the story. Next, as your 24-hour news service continues.
You're watching Central Indiana's only 24-hour news service on Indiana's own WISH TV, Channel 8. Now, Mike Ahern, Debbie Knotts, Ken Owen, meteorologist Cliff Nicholson, and sports with Mark Patrick. 24-hour News 8 continues now.
He is known as Ice-T, a controversial...
Has been claiming it can shrink hemorrhoids, but does it really work?
This is WTHR, Channel 13, Indianapolis. Live from Indiana's News Channel, Tom Cochran, Allison Gilman, Ann Ryder's Consumer Report, Bob Gregory's AccuWeather, and Don Hines Sports. This is News Center 13, Evening Edition.
This is CBS.
Coming up next on Lafayette Live, a possible money shortage and a resignation.
State Board of Accounts is looking at the books of West Lafayette City Court.
We'll tell you about a police crackdown on speeders in construction areas.
And Steve Shear has details of a tornado warning, a tornado watch, and a severe thunderstorm warning coming up next.
You're watching WLFI TV 18. Now, where Lafayette looks for news in the 90s, this is Lafayette Live, TV 18 News at 6, with Mike Piggott, Jill Dittmeyer, Steve Shear with weather, and Larry Clisby with sports.
Good evening. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for part of our area.
And this was the ordination tonight of one of its own members.
News Center 16 is next. Good evening, everyone. I'm Maureen McFadden.
And I'm Mike Collins. Coming up, Libya is still listed as a terrorist nation for good reason. But tonight, we will have an exclusive report on Americans who want that to change.
Michigan State Police have some words of caution tonight after someone posed as a cop and frightened a Michiana woman.
And you just can't beat pictures like this. So we'll tell you where you can see these cute cubs whenever you want.
Those stories and more next.
The Democratic National Party, their hopes to regain control of the White House ride on the shoulders of Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton. I'm News Center 16 convention correspondent Mark Strassman. Join me at 6 and 10 next week for live updates of the Democratic National Convention here at Madison Square Garden. My exclusive reports will bring you the highlights of Clinton's nomination and strategies the Democrats will put in place to beat George Bush and Ross Perot. Tune in at 6 and 10 for Decision 92, the Democratic Convention, all next week on News Center 16.
WNDU-TV, Channel 16, South Bend.
From your 24-hour news source. This is News Center 16 with Mike Collins and Maureen McFadden. Weather with Dick Addis and Jeff Jeffers Sports.
Libya has been treated like... Still to come on News Center 16, Dick will be back to tell us what happened to those big boomers he was expecting.
And students in one area school system may go directly from summer vacation to a shorter week this fall. Where was this when we were in school? We'll tell you all about it next.
In this S&K's 25th year.
Union officials and Wednesday, we will be leaving early while our bosses work on, what was that, Maureen?
Well, the dropout and truancy rate.
There you go. What do you have for us, Richard?
That sounds like fun. Well, remember Batman last night when I said these things might fizzle? Well, some of them did. Golly. But you know, down near Lafayette and Indianapolis, they're getting some big ones.
That's it. You're not going home early. Dick will be right back.
My name is Greg, and you're watching Channel 11.
Now, the news at 10 with Jim Mitchell, Loretta Harris, meteorologist Tammy Garrison, and David Sullivan with sports.
Good evening, I'm Loretta Harris.
And I'm Jim Mitchell. New words, but no progress tonight in the...
No proof.
Granthensburg was not alone in handling water problems this morning, or enjoying it. Tony Hyatt, the news at 10.
Paoli, Indiana. Susan Sweeney, the news at 10.
Catching drunk drivers is a priority, but...
Tonight's News at 10 is being brought to you by the Louisville Hearing Aid Center, with 7 locations serving you in the Kentuckiana area.
Highlights of tonight's baseball action.
The weather with Tammy Garrison has the seal of approval of the American Meteorological Society.
The News at 10's weather brought to you by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. All-around coverage, all around Kentucky.
Hi, Dan Issel for Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'll bet you Nick Faldo, who's supposed to be the best golfer in the world today, won the British Open a couple of weeks ago, couldn't hit that thing.
I know I couldn't hit it, could you?
Thanks very much for watching the News at 10 tonight.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.
Turned in by Jim Modelsky right here on AM 1000 WWP. This is ABC. This is Kentuckiana's 24-hour news channel, WHAS 11. Live at 6 from the leader in television news, Mark Pfeiffer and Ken Schultz. This is Kentuckiana's news channel, WHAS 11.
The cable rates are going up. The store says it's giving you the Disney Channel as part of the bargain. We'll tell you what today. Storm Team meteorologist Ken Schultz is up next with a complete forecast. Right now, 65 degrees at 10 minutes after 6.
The WHAS 11 Storm Team. Meteorologist Jeff Taylor, Ken Schultz, and Ashley Chisholm. The WHAS 11 Storm Team.
From WFIE-TV, Channel 14, Evansville, the one for you. Tonight's latest news for the Tri-State. David James, Mike Blake Sports, and Jeff Lyons with a complete look at tomorrow's weather. This is Newswatch at 10.
From TV 26 in Chicago.
Just opens up
Watching WCIU-TV, Channel 26 Chicago, W33AR, Channel 33 Rockford, W65BT, Channel 65 Milwaukee, and W69BT, Channel 69 South Bend.
Russian and Georgian troops clash today in the former Soviet Republic.
This is News Channel 36 with John Lindgren, Sky Yancey, Sports with Kenny Rice, and Brad James with the weather.
Things you never...
This is ABC.
After World War II...
WSJV, on your side. Now, live from WSJV, tonight's news with a difference. Paul Anderson, Michelle Gary, Mitch Roberts Sports, and Michelle Hamrick's weather. This is Newswatch 28, Night Watch.
Good evening, everyone. A South Bend family learned the hard way tonight.
WAND News Nightcast, live with Mike Browning, Julie Moore, Bob Murray Weather, Sports with Ron Rector, and the WAND News team.
Good evening. A day after fat you should include in your baby's diet. Stay tuned.
This is WKJG-TV, Channel 33, Fort Wayne. The following newscast is closed caption, a community service of Summit Bank. More offices, more owls, more convenience. Now, your 24-hour local news continues. Live, this is 33 News.
These streets
streets are the center of controversy between some members of City Council and the Fort Wayne Police Department, and tonight, the two sides faced off. Good evening, I'm Linda Jackson. Thanks for joining us as we begin our 10-minute look at tonight's about 190,000 General Motors white-collar workers. And today's Army is smaller, but looking for men and women who can pass its tough guidelines. Greg Schaub is at the 33 Outdoor Weather Supercomputer with a first look at the forecast. Greg?
Well, Linda, as you can imagine, lots to talk about from the 33 Outdoor Weather Supercomputer tonight. We're looking at a satellite picture across the Midwest right now, and we could be talking about lots of rain in the next 24 hours. We'll tell you more about that in a couple of minutes. First, let's take a look at our forecast. For tonight, well, it looks like lows should be right around 66 degrees, and then for tomorrow, we'll look for highs of 84, possibility of thunderstorms. And you'll be surprised how much rain we could get in the next 24 hours. We'll tell you about that in just a couple of minutes. Linda?
Thanks, Greg. Ken's here now with the first look at sports.
Linda, Atlanta pitcher Tom Glavine trying to become baseball's first 20-game winner tonight. He hasn't lost since May 22nd, and he went to the Hill this evening against Montreal. Glavine didn't do himself any favors, though, walking to line out to Shields with the bases loaded in the second inning. That forced in Gary Carter. Then Spike Owen just rips this shot back up the middle. That knocked in another run. Later on in sports.
What an accomplishment.
If he
they
gets
did it. Thanks, Ken. Coming up on TV 33, your 24-hour local news channel, we'll learn why not everyone's temperature should be 98.6. You can help these animals find a home. And what's up with Woody and Mia? We'll have the latest when 33 News at 10 returns.
Something's going on. How low? I'm looking at it. Buy one now. Now?
The sun.
The following is a rebroadcast of the evening news recorded earlier today. It is presented now in captioned format by KET and participating commercial television stations as a service to the hearing impaired.
From Central Kentucky's 18, this is 18 News, live at 6.
Good evening.
You're watching WHOI, Peoria, Bloomington. This is 19 Eyewitness News at 10. From your news source in the heart of Illinois.
Good evening. Top officials at Peoria. Big name and long distance.
WAND News Nightcast. Live with Mike Browning, Julie Moore, Bob Murray Weather, Sports with Ron Rector, and the WAND News team.
Good evening.
More news still to come tonight for Spring Valley and all of Central Illinois. President Clinton makes some sweeping changes in federal abortion restrictions. Activists around the world were marching, singing, and shouting at each other. And dueling demonstrations marking the anniversary of Roe v. Wade. And Hooley says, well, it's a mixed bag of weather coming up this weekend. Stay with us. More after this.
In Bloomington, Bavaria, 19 Eyewitness News at 10.
Hi.
Weekend on Entertainment Tonight, Saturday at 6 after 19 Eyewitness News. Communicating with the folks throughout Central Illinois. 19 Eyewitness News, your neighbors and your news source in the heart of Illinois. O'clock. The 19 Sunday movie is back at 12:30 with Something Wicked This Way Comes. Then at 2:30, join the Outdoorsman with Buck McNeely. And at 3, ABC tees off with the Nabisco Dinosaur, all Sunday afternoon on WHOI. You want the definite?
Join us for the Heart of Illinois edition of Good Morning America.
Right here on TV 19, WHOI. Our 40th year in serving the heart of Illinois, we're WHOI.
You're watching Channel 7 Eyewitness News with Kim Gennardo and Weekend Sports with Ryan Lemon.
WAND News Nightcast.
Good evening, everyone.
Steve Bergen. Chris Phillips with the weather. And Rick Van Hoos with Sports Sunday. This is Channel 32 News, the Weekend Report.
Now, WHAS 11 Sports, live with Dave Conrad.
Going down to Rick Pitino reportedly tells.
Never can tell. Those are
No.
Coming up, a big brother, big sister bonus.
A little brother gets the benefit of both a brother and a sister.
Central Kentucky's news, weather, and sports leader, WKYT, Lexington. 27 News First, sports with Rob Bromley, weather with Brian Collins, and with the latest news, Bill Bryant and Sherry Sparks. 27 News First this morning.
Now, Julia Yarbo and meteorologist Wayne Hart with the weather. This is Channel 32 News, the Morning Report.
Good morning.
From WISH TV, Channel 8, this is Indiana's own 24-hour news service.
Good morning. This is Wednesday, May 12th, and here are the stories that will be making news today.
You're watching 24-hour News 8 on today's WISH TV, where more people turn to get their news than to any other source. Now, David Barris, meteorologist Randy Alice, and live reports from Ruth Ann Gordon and Dick Wolfsing. 24-hour News 8 continues with Daybreak, First Edition.
Wake up, Indiana. You need to today.
You're watching 24-hour News 8 on today's WISH TV, where more people turn to get their news than to any other source. Now, David Barris, meteorologist Randy Alice, and live reports from Ruth Ann Gordon and Dick Wolfsing. 24-hour News 8 continues now.
Wake up.
I Challenge Fred, Post Office Box 6205, Louisville, Kentucky, 40206. This is WLKY-TV Louisville, your 24-hour news source. Now, Steve Bergen, Chris Phillips with the weather, and Rick Van Hoos with sports. This is Channel 32 News, the Weekend Report.
Friday morning with Scott and Deb.
A lot of people ask me, what's it like working and being a friend of Debbie Hunter? Well, something like this. Get off work the other day, go home. I'm tired. It's about 1 in the afternoon. Need my nap.
It was a little bit later than that.
Well, I'm just saying it was about 1 when I got home.
Oh, okay.
So I finally doze off. And by this time I'm in la-la land, having a dream.
Yeah.
Afternoon nap.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm dead asleep.
Yeah.
Phone rings. I answer the phone, and yeah, Debbie calls. So I struggle my way to the phone, answer the phone. She says, man, you got to turn on Oprah. So I turn on Oprah. They are talking about yeast infections.
Monday, we'll return with Tell the Truth or Die. We'll take your phone calls. We'll have a look back into history. Good news, bad news, our big hit single, news and sports, you know you're stressed out when, and Scott and Deb's prom etiquette. All Monday morning with Scott and Debbie in the morning show at 107.5 ZZQ.
Today.
Daily trackside reports at 10:40, 2:40, and 6:40. Complete coverage of the time trials with reports every half hour live from the Speedway with a half-hour wrap-up each qualifying day. Indy Live, the 2-hour evening talk show weekly. And then Sunday, a Memorial Day weekend. It's the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indy 500.
Your official Indy 500 station, High 99, WTHI.
When She Cries from WRAY Radio. It's 21 away from 10 o'clock on a Sunday night, 60 degrees at the Ray Tower.
WAND News Nightcast, live with Julie Moore, Mike Browning, Bob Murray weather, sports with Ron Richter, and the WAND News team.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Taylor Brown, WBOW News and Information.
It's after 11 in the evening. This is Night Talk with Dark Star on WCCO Radio.
With PM.
Wherever you live. From WTVW Evansville, this is the Channel 7 Eyewitness News Midday Report with Cheryl White.
This is Channel 31, WKOH, Owensboro, Henderson, Kentucky.
Tom Kent and Mindy Shannon. Meteorologist Diane Kaczmarek. And Alan Cutler with sports. This is 18 News at 6.
Serious allegations about pest control in Kentucky.
18 News. The state auditor Nancy Padgett, 18 News.
We're trying to stop the summer rash of robberies. Coming up next.
And then later, the movie Jurassic Park has been a huge hit here in the United States, and now the dinosaur craze is hitting Japan, and it's big.
It is the hottest it's been all day long. Temperature keeps climbing and humidity keeps increasing. I'll let you know about our heat for tomorrow coming up next.
Diane Kaczmarek's weather forecast has the American Meteorological Society's seal of approval.
But the Reds, believe it or not, would still be alive in their hunt to make the playoffs. Alan will explain next.
Also, we're going to introduce you to a Lexington bodybuilder. His name is Steve Tucker, and he's getting ready for a big competition this weekend. One of the basketball Wildcats prize recruits is making... Coming up next, we're going to show you how it's taking Japan by storm. Stay with us.
Finally this evening,
Near Louisville, other than that, it's going to be dry for the evening. It's still in the 80s, even for evening hours.
And even hotter tomorrow, right? Well, you've been warned.
Take it easy. NBC Nightly News is next. We'll see you at 11. Have a good evening. Good night.
You're watching WSIU-TV, Channel 8 in Carbondale. Public television brought to you by the Broadcasting Service of Southern Illinois University at Carbondale.
Captioning on the night shift is made possible by J.D. Franklin Company, Mobius, downtown Elkhart.
You're watching WSEE-TV, your hometown station. This is WSBT-TV, Eyewitness News, Weekend.
Again, good.
You're listening to Crossroads Country, WCRC, Effingham.
From the heart of the bluegrass, this is News Channel 36, the 6 o'clock report. With John Lindgren, Sky Yancey, Brad James with the weather,
and Kenny Rice on sports. News Channel 36, the 6 o'clock report. You're watching News Channel 36, the 6 o'clock report.
The country western dance.
I think I'm going to jump in and give it a whirl myself. Join me tomorrow for part 2 of In Lexington. I'm John Preston, News Channel 36.
John looks good in that hat.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of him on there.
Dancing. Coming up on News Channel 36, Brad's going to two-step on in here, and he'll be here with the complete weather forecast. We've enjoyed a bit of a break from the really hot weather, but Kenny Rice will have a commentary on Magic Johnson's possible NBA comeback.
And Pete Rose played baseball in Cincinnati yesterday.
This is WICS-TV 20, Springfield, Decatur. And now, live, this is 20 News Nightside, with closed captioning for the hearing impaired.
Good evening. How to spend your tax...
This is WAND News Nightcast. Live with Julie Moore, Mike Browning, Bob Murray Weather, Sports with Ron Rector, and the WAND News team.
WLEZ has presented the weather. For easy listening music 24 hours a day, stay tuned to 102.7 FM.
We're WLEZ, relaxing 102.7 FM. Thanks for making us a part of your day. WLEZ.
You're watching WTWO, Channel 17, Rockford. This is News 17's Weekend Report with Tammy Miller and Scott Lever with Sunday Sports Wrap. Northern Illinois and Southern Wisconsin's leading source for news.
Residents
Per couple, call WCKY at 241-6565 and reserve.
Now, from Central Illinois' news station, this is WAND News Nightcast. Live with Mike Browning, Julie Moore, Bob Murray Weather, Sports with Ron Rector, and the WAND News team.
You're watching 28 WSJV. This is Newswatch 28 at 10. The news starts now.
Good evening, I'm Jay Dunlap.
And I'm Amy Hesler, sitting in for Michelle Gary.
Could hit Florida or the Carolinas and all.
You're watching WRTV-6, making a difference for Indiana. This is WRTV-6 News at 6. With Greg Todd, weather with meteorologist David James, and Scott Hoke on sports. Now, live WRTV-6 News at 6.
Good evening, Indiana.
Residents in Florida brace for a hurricane.
22 Alive News Nightside is next. Stay with us.
Live from your award-winning news team, the Miami Valley's most complete news, weather, and sports. 22 Alive News Nightside at 11 o'clock.
Two motorcycles.
You're watching WLFI TV 18. Now, where Lafayette looks for news in the 90s. This is Lafayette Live TV 18 News this morning. With Mary Meislowick, Chris Parenti, and meteorologist Maxine Perry.
Good morning, Greater Lafayette. It's 6:30 on this Monday, August 30th.
The Les Brown Talk Show premieres September 6th at 10 a.m. on